by Marco Fassara. First off, in order to understand the backbone, we need to find out what leadership is and what makes you a great leader. Leadership has many different definitions, and in all, it's a complex topic that's hard to define. Northwest Education defines leadership as the ability to influence and guide others towards a common goal or vision. However, like most definitions of leadership, this definition is somewhat flawed in the fact that it leaves out many parts and values specific to leadership. Despite this definition gives a good view into what leadership is and what's involved in it. Now that we've defined leadership, we can move on to the things that can make you a great leader. The best way to find this out is through history. Winston Churchill and Martin Luther King are both well-respected leaders. Starting with Winston Churchill, he was the Prime Minister of the UK during World War II, and according to Champlain College, became the voice of a nation during one of its most destructive and tumultuous periods. His passionate and strategic leadership style made him into a hero of the UK and gave him the nickname of the Roaring Lion. Similarly, Martin Luther King Jr. became a hero when he took up his role to lead the civil rights movement. Unlike other leaders, he was passionate to his nonviolent approach despite all the adversity there was against the civil rights movement. In the end, both these leaders were passionate and didn't balk in the face of hardship, despite their vastly different leadership styles. If you look at other great leaders in history, the most prominent things that they all share are the skills they have to raise the morale of the people, pushing through adversity, and letting go of their distractions and fears so that they can do their role as a leader passionately. These are all similar to the values of the backbone that makes up leadership. There are three of these values that make up the backbone, and all have positive effects. The first value is staying calm, a value a lot of good leaders have. According to Todd Lowhead, leaders that show the value of staying calm have the side effect of raising the morale of their followers through positive feedback and support. If a leader wasn't trying to promote morale in a hard time, but wasn't calm or optimistic themselves, it could backfire on them and lower morale. The second value is similar to the first, and it's overcoming fear. Overcoming fear is also an important value because of how it strengthens others' values, such as staying calm. For example, a leader could stay calm in a hardship, but if they didn't overcome any fears, it would only slow them down. According to Katrin Franzen, if a leader overcomes their fears, it can instill greater confidence in their teams and their leaders' abilities. The last value is setting a good example, an already popular message in schools and families. An example of how to do this is through PLSD leadership. PLSD stands for Positive Life Skills Development, and according to Alicia Strachan from the University of Manitoba, it helps to foster a vast array of personal and social skills important to high-performance athletes. Leaders that use PLSD set a good example for their followers to follow because of the positive effects it can have in the development of the same life skills. It can also help leaders to keep their followers motivated and in line with the team's goals. But how can these values make you a great leader? According to Northwest Education, a great leader is someone who inspires and motivates their team, communicates effectively, and is accountable for their actions. Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King, and other great leaders have all done this, but their team was on a larger scale. This statement on great leaders also perfectly explains the values of the backbone of leadership. The first part of a great leader it mentions is someone who inspires and motivates the team and reflects the values of staying calm and overcoming fear, as motivation and inspiration are the main effects of these values being used. The second part, communicating effectively, also shows these two values. Staying calm and overcoming fear works hand in hand to communicate effectively, as staying calm will project a confident demeanor, and overcoming fear will only improve this confidence. Overcoming this fear of public speaking is also a great accomplishment and skill that has helped leaders in their rallying speeches, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt's 1933 inaugural address. The third and final part, being accountable for your actions, shows the last value of setting a good example. Part of setting a good example is to be honest and humble, which are ways that eventually lead someone to be accountable for their actions. In addition, if followers see a leader be accountable, the followers will become motivated and inspired to follow in their footsteps. The values of the backbone of leadership are also very helpful in our daily lives or as a follower Simone Biles is a good example of a follower showing these qualities, as she set an example for her fellow teammates, faced the truth, and put when necessary, even though she wasn't the team captain. Another way this value has been used in daily life is shown through the Grammy Hall of Fame song, "We Are the Champions." Near the beginning of the song, Freddie Mercury states that "I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through." A perfect example of pushing through fear, opposition, and stress that comes from sources we encounter every day, like work. We can also overcome fears when working, shown through the famous lunch atop a skyscraper photo, as these workers sit for lunch hundreds of feet above New York, despite the fact that many could have a fear of heights. According to Judy Von Grell, mental warm-ups are very helpful to stay calm by getting rid of nerves and increasing performance as a member of a sports team or partner on a project. This is just one example of staying calm, but we can also stay calm when working towards a common goal, like Jerry did in The Habit of Loving as he swam through a tunnel in the pitch dark with claustrophobia and limited air constantly on his mind. In contrast to these values, others have argued that teamwork is highly important and the leadership structure can even be more important than individual leadership because of its positive effects. Its Uriel states that these effects include having a reduction in stress and having some of the highest levels of morale and job satisfaction. Others have argued that teamwork is even the starting point of a good leader as they begin to realize the necessity of good morale and the importance of joining the cause. However, these arguments aren't very sound, as these effects could still happen through good leadership and the values of the backbone, and could even improve to be better than teamwork. Leaders are relied upon further skills to put a goal to their followers and to work towards it together. According to Stuart Cottrelli, the role of athlete leaders can have a significant impact upon a range of team-related factors, including satisfaction, cohesion, and team dynamics. This quote perfectly establishes how teamwork could easily fall apart without the careful guidance and common goals leaders establish when using the backbone of leadership. Thank you. This is my bibliography.